Welcome to Negative Aesthetics within Gothic Horror. We will be analysing Dracula by Bram Stoker and A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night by Anna Lily Amirpour, according to Fred Botting's article, Negative Aesthetics. Dracula, as a literary vampire, has climbed free of its text to become a full-scale myth, appearing in A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, a dream space showcasing humanity's interest in those beyond the veil. Since the 19th century, vampires are one of the foundational monsters within the horror genre. However, the convention surrounding vampires has changed over time as everyone has their own interpretation of them. Darkness is an absence of light associated with sense and security. This genre offered a fanciful pre-modern world, a place of feudal tyrants and peasants cowering in superstition. Gothic literature helped define a rational, modern, Protestant England by imagining its other. While Amirpour's film was steeped in other influences that contradicts the American dream, as it takes place in an industrial wasteland with a grudge scene feel. Vampires require permission to enter one's house, which is as permission to enter darkness into the mind. Harker's mind started out with the words from the locals and the warning off of the evil eye. One of the most unsettling things to people is the idea that their safe space is open to danger. Amirpour uses the soundtrack to create a wall of feeling, merging the events on screen to a song which opens a scene. This can be seen when the female vampire is about to kill. The music becomes intense until her fangs are revealed, when it becomes a muted noise. A natural beauty surrounds the horror, as closer to the castle, the calming environment gives way to daunting forest lands. Sense of unease sets in as the readers get both the description of beauty and of the howling wolves. This is the calm before the storm. Arash, dressed as Dracula, runs into the female vampire on a lonely deserted street. He's staring up at a lamppost, mesmerized by the light pouring out into the night, contrasting the dark aura of the moment. They both live in Bad City, where the power plant has the elements of a dark forest, which represents destitution. The shadows are so dark that she can stalk the streets almost completely in the liquidy black. As she skateboards down an empty dark street, her straw flowing behind her like gigantic bat wings, she parodies Dracula. Dynamic practices involved in Gothic negativity can be seen in patterns of transgressions that are an unpresentable threat in a single image, but only if the boundaries separating virtue and vice remain clearly defined. In his novel, Gelder argues that the vampire's function is to cross back and forth over boundaries that should otherwise be secure, boundaries between humans and animals, humans and God, and between man and woman. Transgression is not always carried out by the vampire. The evil can be portrayed in the drugs. Arash becomes a drug dealer, yet he is not punished for his crimes due to his moral ambiguity. When he felt that the female vampire was cold, he simply hugs her, contradicting the cape's persona as intimidating. Rather, it brings comfort. But when his sick father forces drugs onto the prostitute, the female vampire comes around and ends him. Since vampires came into the literary world, they have undergone constant transformation, as each author wishes to align them to their stories and morals. The world's favourite snowman gives a simple definition for transformation.
Well, I still don't know what transformation means. I feel like this forest has really changed us all.
The silver screen designed stories of vampires that offered metaphors as morals. Amirpour takes what Dracula established and changes it by introducing new vices which revolve around respecting women. The female vampire acts as an anti-hero, an avenging angel, protecting women who are abused. The image of a female vampire skateboarding down the street, her shadow flying out behind her, does the job with more poetic satisfaction and truth than any explicit monologue about the oppression of women could ever do. Revisions are simply those that borrow ideas from already established conventions, but respectively has something resourceful to add to their genre, whereas parody superficially mimics the conventions of genre but alters aspects with a sense of humour. Once unleashed, the vampire has proven impossible to lay to rest. Having cheated death once, Dracula will always rise again for another adaptation. Arash, the boy, is in danger of walking home alone at night because the vampire girl is also walking home alone at night. She is seemingly fond of him and his antics, seen through a subtle facial expression as she sees Arash wearing the costume of Dracula. Like most contemporary versions of the vampire story, this is a self-conscious revision of earlier texts. Gothic horror disrupts the borders of knowing and has an absence of security. It conjures up obscure, otherworldly phenomena and confuses the boundaries between virtue and vice. Through negative aesthetics, vampire literature gives a name to the establishment of the monster under the bed and on the screen. That was Negative Aesthetics within Gothic horror. I'm Kayla, and thank you for watching.